Hey guys, Mrs. Keller here. So I know some of you missed Tuesday because you had Latin. So I just want to hit some key points that we reviewed when we went over the Black Death. So real quickly, the Black Death or plague, we discussed where did it come from, how did it spread, what was the social economic impact that it had on Europe. So the Black Death throughout history, you're going to have plagues or pandemics come and go. And ironically, right now we're living through a pandemic. You may have heard of the Spanish flu. But the difference between this, the Black Death, and the COVID-19 is the way in which it's transmitted. So the culprit. So the vector for this transmission of disease, this bacteria, is going to be the flea, and the flea lives on the rats. And the flea will bite the human and regurgitate the blood, which has the bacteria in it, and it enters the bloodstream. Okay. Um, how is it spread? So, the trade routes that take place in Constantinople into Italy and throughout Europe. How is it spread? Well, these rats, they travel the trade routes. They start with the Mongols into the with the Chinese, and then they go into Constantinople, and then the trading ships bring them up into the Mediterranean, into Italy, and eventually up into Europe. The rats live on the ships. The rats are literally everywhere. It's very dirty this time. It's not like today. The streets aren't clean. The people aren't clean. Waste is just running in the streets. So there's rats everywhere. Um, Constantinople, big deal because this is the crossroads of the world. So this is where everybody's going to meet and trade and then move to different regions of the world. If you think about the epicenter of COVID-19 being in New York City, makes sense because, in my opinion, New York City is like the crossroads of the world. So many people coming and going, it can easily be spread. Uh, the symptoms, you do not want this disease. You get it, and you're going to suffer. Okay, high fever, cough, these nasty infected swelling glands called boo-boos, and you have 100% mortality rate. Not good. Um, yeah. So the if you look at the pictures here, the medieval pictures, you can actually see the what they call the swollen lymph nodes there. The vector, the disease cycle. Uh, the flea drinks the rat blood and then it multiplies in the gut and then it gets regurgitated and then the human is infected. All right, so it's a disease that is spread from fleas into humans by bacteria. It cannot be treated with antibiotics because they do not have antibiotics at that time. So medieval art uh, during this time period portrays that this evil coming down upon people, and we know that religion is a key factor in people's lives. People tend to believe that they're being punished because of the plague. They're sinners and they've done bad, so they're being punished, so they deserve this. And people would actually go around Europe like hitting themselves and punishing themselves because they actually thought they deserved this. Okay. Um, Now, how did they treat this? Bloodletting, or they're giving leeches. The leeches are little animals that latch on and take the blood out of you. Okay, probably the worst thing you would ever want to do because blood has oxygen in it. We kind of need that. It also has those very valuable white blood cells that you need. So you need that to fight the infection. Okay, so if you ever go to a doctor today and he tells you he practices medieval medicine, I would run out the door. Okay. Let's see. Attempts to societal effects. Okay, so in society, uh, back then and today, when something bad happened, they want to blame somebody. So who do we blame during the Middle Ages? We blame the Jews. Jews are a minority. They're not like us. They don't practice the same. They're monotheistic, don't practice exactly the same religion. Let's persecute and blame the Jews for the plague. Sounded like a good idea to them. Okay, so the sickly season, the merchant said, the town I left was filled with dead, and everywhere these queer red flies crawled upon the corpses' eyes, eating them away. People were, dead bodies were piling up so quickly that they were literally being eaten alive by uh, flies in the street. Now, I did pull up did have a picture when I went to Dublin to the Viking Museum that shows like a little reenactment here. They would just pile the dead bodies up on the carts, and if you were a victim of the plague, your family, they would put a big X, a white X, on your house. You know not to go there for dinner because you're going to catch the plague. Okay. So yeah. So the effect on society: 25 million dead. Okay, very high mortality rate. With COVID 19, uh, not so much. Thank God, 80% self resolve. People believe that bathing would help get them sick. We know that would be the opposite, but they did not bathe back then. And plague is still around today. So, basics. Where did it come from? It came from Asia and the trading routes. It was carried by fleas on rats, and the fleas bit the the humans, and the bacteria is regurgitated into the blood. The effect on society: you have persecution of the Jews. You had a huge death rate. Okay, so some pretty bad effects on society. Pretty poor outcome there for the Black Death. Questions or comments? Please feel free to comment in the stream or email me. Have a good day.